Question for you. How much do you think that this single barcode costs to purchase directly from gs1.org? Do you think maybe it's $1, $5, $10? Well, those are all wrong because there's actually $30 for one single barcode. Now imagine if your product had multiple colors and sizes. That $30 for that single barcode could quickly go from $150 to $180 depending on the amount of variations you have. So fortunately for you guys today, I'm going to show you exactly how to list a product on Amazon without a barcode using a GTIN exemption. So that means you do not need a UPC, you do not need an EAN, and you do not need any other form of a product ID. So let's get started. Alright guys, let's get started today. So I'm going to take you step by step today, show you how you can actually apply for a GTIN exemption, which is known as a Global Trade Item Number. Now a GTIN is essentially your UPC, your EAN, any form of a barcode or product ID that would be going on your product. And what I'm going to show you guys today is how to apply for a GTIN exemption. Anyone can apply for it if you meet a certain amount of requirements, but as long as you're not looking to brand your product or to sell another brand that would require approval, there should be no reason why you cannot go ahead and to apply for this exemption. So let's jump over to the computer and let's get this tutorial started. So before we get started, I want to make sure that you guys understand why you are applying for this GTIN exemption and if it's going to apply to you and your business. Because that is the first important question that you need to ask yourself, is to really understand if you're going to be eligible for this exemption. And a lot of this does depend on the product that you're selling. So on Amazon's page here for their exemption, they're going to tell you that there are only a couple scenarios in which that you're allowed to apply for this exemption. The first off is if you want to sell products for which the brand, the manufacturer, or the publisher, if you're looking at books, does not provide some type of barcode. Now, a lot of private label products that you're going to be ordering from China, they typically do not come with a UPC barcode or an EAN. And more than likely for a handmade product, you're not going to have that as well. So it's really up to you at that point. Do you want to put a barcode on there for tracking purposes to be more credible, or you can apply for this exemption? The second bullet point here is nearly identical to the top, but this is essentially saying you are the manufacturer, the brand, or the publisher versus saying you want to sell product that is the brand, manufacturer, or publisher. So if any of those apply to you, you're good to go. And then the last two here is if you want to sell product parts that do not have a UPC, such as automotive parts, or you want to sell a bundled pack of more than one product. So think of shirts. If you want to sell a pack of shirts, maybe 3 or 4 shirts in one order, you're going to need a barcode just for that unit. So you can apply for this exemption for that bundled pack. So if any of those scenarios relate to you and make sense, it doesn't have to be all of them, just one of them, and then you can go ahead and we can apply for this exemption. So now I'm going to save you guys a lot of time. You don't have to review all these steps on how to do it. All you have to worry about is clicking this link here, and I'll also put this link in the description so you can easily go to the exemption page. Now before we do that, just make sure that you are logged into your Amazon seller account. As you can see here, I'm on my YouTube test account for Amazon. Once you're logged in, click that link that I'll put in the link in the description, and you're going to be brought to this page here. And what they're asking you to do is to select the product category that you are going to be selling your product in, and then also list the brand that you wish to sell this as. So the first thing, let's pretend that we're selling, we'll say we're selling electronics. That should be easy enough, right? Now here's the important part. They have 3 different options here, and you can add more brand publisher names. But what you need to go ahead and do is add your brand. This does not have to be trademarked. If it is, you can put that in here as well. But this is just to see if there are any other branded items with that same name. For the brand of our product, let's just make up one here. So we'll say go to electronics. And now we can also add a different one. So if we had a second brand name, let's say we had go to electronics, G2E. And then the last thing that I want you guys to put is generic. So if you don't have a problem with branding your items, branding your products, and you just want to sell them as generic private label products, all you have to do is type in generic. All right, at that point, you can add more if you want to, or you can just add 1, 2, whatever you want to do, and click check for eligibility. Now it's going to take you row by row for the brands that you requested. So at the top here, it says approved brands. You have been approved to list products in the below brand and category, and you can start listing these after 30 minutes. So they're saying for this first one, for generic brand, we can go right ahead and click add a product and list our product without that UPC or EAN. However, it's a little bit different of a scenario for the actual brand names that we wanted to use. Unfortunately, we cannot use those brand names unless we have prior approval. So on the status here, it says requires brand approval, and same thing for the other brand that we tried to use. Amazon is going to provide you some information on how to get around this, but if you don't have a trademark brand and you're not looking to actually register it with Amazon Brand Registry, do not do that. The most simple thing to do is use the generic brand. Anyone can use a generic brand and click Add a Product. Now this is going to bring you up to the Add a Product page, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with. We already know that this is a new product, so it's not actually sold on Amazon right now. So we'll click this link here. If it is a product that is already on Amazon, you can search it up here for the product name. Obviously, there isn't a GTIN, UPC, EAN, and so forth. So type in the product name or click this link right here. Once you click here, it's going to take you to the select a product category page. The most efficient way that I've always seen it is just go to the search here and type in what it is you're selling. For this tutorial, I didn't actually say what we're selling, what type of electronics, but we'll just say we're selling this portable electronic device cover for, I guess, a GPS. So you select the category that is most applicable and relatable to your product. Now, if you've ever listed a product before, you'll notice that the product ID typically has an asterisk right next to it, meaning that it is required for you to click Save and Finish. However, now that we've applied for our GTIN exemption, it is not required. So all we have to do here is absolutely nothing. And so we'll go ahead, we'll add our title. This is for the GPS cover. For the brand, make sure you guys put generic and do not put a brand name. Manufacturer, you can also put generic. And then the last required piece of information based on this red exclamation point is the price. So we'll list this at, what do you guys think? $250, sure. And then condition, well, it's new. Now, it's as simple as that. You guys can watch my tutorials that I'll put in the cards now for actually how to make this listing appealing, how do you go into the advanced view, add keywords, some more details, the description, things that you definitely want to do for your listing. But for this tutorial, I just want to show you guys it's simple as that. We can click Save and Finish now. The button is there. And the biggest thing here is that we did not need a product ID, and we saved ourselves that $30 or even more if we had variations. All right, that about wraps us up here. At this point, you now know how to apply for a GTIN exemption, all the steps that are required and what Amazon's going to ask of you. And most importantly, you can avoid the whole gs1.org process. Purchasing those barcodes is something that you don't have to do if you're going to be selling a generic brand or a brand that is non-trademarked. I appreciate you guys watching today. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Have a good one.